This season it's hard to explain why we're broke. No tree, no gifts, no chimney with smoke. There won't be toys for you or presents for mom, no fair. Santa won't bring any gifts, 'cause Daddy bought the cat's lair. At 36.7 inches, it fits my figures, it's true. At $650, it's worth more to me than you. I wished for this since I was your age. I wished it into fruition. I'd much rather pay for this than contribute to your college tuition. So don't be sad, you can watch your dad acting like he's in heaven, because this Christmas he surely won't miss The Cat's Lair by Super 7.
Can I play with it too?
No.
Thundercats Cat's Lair. We have a payment program.
Well, what's up there, toy people out there? It is Toybox Chronicles. Well, you definitely know that because it is Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And you might notice there's no Chet tonight. But guess what? We got ever ready, every faithful Richard from Chaos Collectibles. How you doing, brother?
Trying not to blow away, man.
I know it's been out here. We're in Southern California, and anybody else is out in Southern California, man. We got our thoughts and prayers are out to you. We hope that
Be
everything
safe.
is going well for you. You know, it's tough out there. So, like I said, enjoy your time, be safe, and hopefully you're not in any of the areas. But if you are, let us know. We'll send our thoughts and prayers out to you. Tonight, we got a great show for you, man. Great show. We decided to kick off the new year with something a tad bit different, man. We're going to give our 2025 predictions for G.I. Joe Classified. What do we think will happen in this year? Or are we going to be right or wrong? Well, you have to wait all the way until December to know if we're going to be wrong. But right now, we think we're right. And from there, also, there's a Build-A-Figure that's releasing from Marvel Legends tomorrow. We're going to tell you some information on it. And while you're salivating on that, and while I'm kicking it here with Richard, we're going to let you guys kick the intro in, and we'll be back in a second. This is Toybox Chronicles. Oh, that's right. Feel powerful. Feel powerful. We will have a new intro coming, though. I will tell you that. A new intro is coming.
That cat's lair. I spit out my water. I was laughing so hard. That is so awesome.
And if you were able to sit through the actual countdown, you saw something that Dr. Britley cooked up last year. I'm gonna give him credit for this one. It was Christmas with the Cat Lair. We were sitting around, and last year we were thinking about like what that $650 is a lot of money, and he came up with this thing. So if you haven't seen it, head over to the archives, check it out. It's called Christmas with the Cat's Lair. It's hilarious. I know
It is hilarious. It is so well done.
but everybody's getting their Cat's Lairs right now, so we thought it was good. We threw it in. So even though it's after Christmas, you still get the little joke. So check that out.
Man, that thing is a monster.
It
Buddy of mine
is.
got it.
It is.
And I was taken back. Even the pictures don't do it justice. Much like I can't remember the name of the tank, but
you talking about Thunder Tank?
Yeah, the Thunder Tank. Much like the pictures don't do justice how massive that is either. And my buddy has both of those set up in his garage, and it takes a good portion of the garage. It's a beast.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things that you're right. You have to see it in order to appreciate the size. But
Yeah.
I do know that the Thunder Tank was huge, and there was a point I thought I said, you know what, I'm gonna get the Thunder Tank, and then I looked at the size and dimension. I was like, wait a minute, this thing is like a little bit bigger than I thought. And then I saw, I think one of the promo items, somebody Super 70 was holding it. And I was like, oh hell no, I can't order that. That's that's just way too
It is
much.
massive.
And then when you saw the
Beautiful.
Cat Slayer, you know, it's huge. And if you had a chance to go down to San Diego Comic Con, they
Yeah.
actually had it in display a couple of years ago. And when you saw it, you were like, this is huge. And I remember like I think like they say there's no stupid questions, but there are some. Let's be honest. Somebody came out of nowhere and he was like, well, will the cats will the Thunder Tank be able to fit under the claw? It's like, brother, like you know how big the cat liver have to be in order for the actual claw,
Oh my God.
like you know, it's certain things like this that are collecting fads. First of all, if this small version of it was 650, like we're looking at like 2,500,
Oh,
$3,500. You know,
easily. Yeah.
it just comes out with the amount of it. It's like, what is going on, man? It's just too much, man. But it always has me laughing that someone will ask. But you know what we got to do? Got to get in with the chat and everything. We got Darth Moocher. What's going on, sir? And we got ever faithful, ever ready Meeks. Sup, fellas? What's going on, Meeks? It's not a show until Meeks pops in. And also, if anybody else wants to know, we are streaming on all of our channels, YouTube, X, over on Twitch, over on Rumble, and obviously on Instagram. So if you guys get any questions over there, we're going to be checking back and forth for anybody that's on Instagram, because somehow our service doesn't actually put the Instagram messages in, but everybody else will be able to appear. So just comment, let us know what it is. But if you haven't subscribed already and you're watching us, it's almost like cheating. You should be
Oh,
subscribing.
yeah. And since Chet's not here, it's still free.
It's still free because he doesn't
Yeah.
know we're charging that to his account, even though he's not here.
Free.
He does not know that. So, you know, do it while he's gone before he checks a look at his bank account. So, as we're getting in, man, you know, hey, one of my favorite lines, I know this is one of your favorite lines. That's why we get along so well, is G.I. Joe. And we thought
Oh
this
yeah.
week, you know, since Chet is out there champagne drinking and limousine ride, we thought, you know, all right, let's go to a total G.I. Joe citric kind of scenario. So what we've got is our 2025 predictions of the G.I. Joe classified line. Now, here's the thing. Let me just stress this to you. These are not known facts. No one from Hasbro has told us. This is not something that we have had confirmations on. These are just opinions. So, like I said, if you had that little disclaimer at the bottom of the screen, these are just the opinions of the Toybox Chronicles. These are not facts. So we're just gonna play a little fun game of what we think the line should be.
Whole lot of wishful thinking.
Exactly, exactly. But you know, hey, since we're Joe fans, some of these may come right. So if they do come right, that's okay. We'll take credit for it and everything. And if there was a service like FanDuel, we would tell you that these are the bets that you should place your money on. And you know, why don't they do that? They need to do that for fandom. They need to have like
I
fandom
mean,
bets.
FanDuel, like you could bet on almost anything on FanDuel.
Yeah, well, you know, we might
You
have
know,
to.
when I was younger, I had so if FanDuel would have existed, it would save me and my buddies a lot of time.
Oh
We
yeah.
used to bet on some of the dumbest stuff. So
Yeah. Oh, not only save a lot of time and everything else like that, you know. I know some people back in the day had to run into some bookies. Might have saved you some kneecaps and everything else too. So we're gonna,
I don't know nothing about nothing. I read about it in a book once.
hey, you know, what happens happens. We don't necessarily know. All right, so we're gonna roll this up and everything. And again, these are just our predictions. The 2025, like I said, Richard and actually Alex's predictions on it. And yeah, Dr. Brentley has done that. So you can hit the opinions of Alex and Richard do not represent the Shadowlands Network, YouTube, or any other subsidiaries. So we just want you to know we will be using that later on in the show, just to let you know. Thank you, sir, for the assist. Yeah, ready. But that works in. So let's go to the first ones and let's just roll this in. Before we even start it, let's look at the stuff that's actually already confirmed by the
Confirmed,
time
yeah.
at Hasbro that we know is coming. So for the main line, they've got legacy characters like Blowtorch, Footloose, They've got the Frag Viper. They've got Darklawn, which is Destro's brother.
Destro's brother, yeah.
They got Snake Eyes version 4, which a lot of people don't remember that because chances are by the time you got to Snake Eyes version 4, you were probably out of the line at that point. Then they've got from the Deluxe and Legacy series, we've got Heavy Duty, which is one of the favorites. Now in the
Heavy duty that I've seen the pre-release screens of looks
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
But I think his gun's a little bit too much.
Well, you know, he looks like there's several versions that I remember. The one version of Heavy Duty that I remember was from GI Joe. I think it was it Renegades, where he was a cousin to Roadblock.
Oh, yeah, he is Roadblock cousin.
And then there's the Heavy Duty that we've seen that was on the Deke one. This looked like they leaned into the Deke version of him with
They
the shirt, the
to
hat,
me,
and the crazy rockets and everything else.
yeah, it looks like a mech that he's in, and
Yeah,
I mean, it's cool, and at least it's not part of him. It comes apart, and you still have a really, really awesomely
yeah.
made figure. So that's a good thing. But I mean, hopefully they release him in a retro card version too, because Heavy Duty is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I would like to see him actually in the retro version as well.
The next one,
And
Law and Order, is the one I am very excited for.
now, if you looked at every other GI Joe centric site all over the place, they showed the leaks. We don't do that here. You can see it someplace else. You've seen them out there, but they've got the leaks and everything. And Freak Burrito says that he looks like Terry Crews. You know what? I will give him that. He does look like Terry Crews. I will give him on that, man. You know, and of course, Meek's laughing his butt off on that one. It's very well true. Hey, you never know. They might be setting that up and shit with the hat on. Yeah, he does. He looks a little bit like that. We'll give that to you. And then from we've got the 60th anniversary, which I don't understand why they did the 60th anniversary in year 61, but they did. But it's a legacy character, a firefighter. So I'm
But
sure.
didn't they did the same thing with the 25th anniversary? I believe that it was on the 26th or 27th anniversary.
Yeah.
So
Well, maybe also too, they were trying to capitalize. Maybe they had this character in the pipeline. They just didn't get it out because I know that it took them all year to get the standard version of the 60th anniversary ones, and a lot of
yeah,
people weren't happy with those either. So you know, I've owned all of them. I thought they were all great, but a lot of people had little problems with them. It seemed like they were that I saw it as it's just collector's items. Leave it as it
yeah.
is. I'm planning on buying that 60th anniversary firefighter because he looks cool. I like the gear and the mech. I think chances are we're going to see all forms of servicemen that they're going to do for that. So hey, whatever they're going to do it, keep doing it, man. The exclusives again, Crystal Ball. You've seen leaks all over the place. We don't show those kind of leaks, but you've seen them. One character I'm extremely excited about is Snake Eyes with the polar bear and the a piece of the mass device, and
Right.
that Lenny and a lot of people that work for the GI Joe team said that polar bear will be able to stand up on its own hind legs too, and it's a very huge figure, and they say extremely heavy. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward
I
to that.
bet it looks in the leaks that I've seen, it looks pretty beefy.
Yeah. And then there's the Cobra Defense Perimeter, which is like a modular kit that you can put together and stack on top of one another. And that comes
I
with
missed those.
the
That was the one thing GI Joe did great. The mini play sets, the little modular
yeah,
play sets. Like you had the little what was it, the toll booth type thing, and
yeah,
like they had just like a bunch of really that were relatively cheap, which I think is something they could do. And some people can't afford these big play sets and big vehicles.
exactly.
Getting these little modular ones, man, we used to have a blast with those things.
Yeah, yeah. I think the more sets, the more pieces, the more world building you can get. It's not a bad thing. I ordered that. That's and I don't know if you can still. I don't know if it's sold out at Hasbro Pulse because I didn't check today. But I got a feeling that that one's not going to hang around long. One they actually confirmed, and they did show the Cobra Claw, which classic vehicle. You've got to
Yeah,
have that. It comes with a female pilot that looked pretty good. Also, you could see Slice and Dice. They actually show leaks of that all over the place, so you could see those characters right now. And one of the exclusives, because it is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, is the Cobra Rattler, which we will know will come in December of next year, or this
Yeah,
year. I'm sorry,
that's awesome. Slice and dice.
yeah,
Eh.
yeah. That was by the time I was out of the line.
That's the thing is like most collectors were out of the line by the
Yeah,
time Slice and Die. Why are they making those when which is something we'll get into.
I'm sure Lenny or somebody over there is a fan of that, and there's some people that some of the fringe characters are
I'm
starting
sure
to
there
come up
are,
more too
but
early. You know,
they're missing the boat on other ones that could be done so much.
sure, sure. And then you got the retro classified line, which these look more like the either from the comic book version or some of them are looking like from the actual animated series, the Sunbow version,
Right.
or possibly even the Deke. But they've
I
got
really like the release of the rock and roll in this
yeah,
line because
mhm,
I like the modern rock and roll with the tattoos and all that. He looks awesome.
yeah,
But sometimes you want that classic green shirt, very,
yes. I will agree with you. They got rock and roll. They got retro Flint. Retro looked extremely interesting because they leaned heavily into the animated, the first Mass Device kind of thing. Uh,
yeah.
uh, and so she comes with a hat and her hair is
Hopefully,
blonde. And it's
hopefully she comes with a better freaking head
yeah,
sculpt than the last one.
yeah. That's it. It looked well so far. The sneak peek ones they showed, it seemed obviously the classic retro version of Doctor Mindbender, which you never have too many Doctor Mindbenders. So I'm glad
Oh
they
no,
got a good one.
I love Dr. Mindbender. I just wish they would modernize. And it's something, I mean, I've said it on this podcast
Yep.
before. I've said it anytime any Dr. Mindbender is one of my favorite characters of all times. I mean, not just Joe characters, one of my favorite overall characters, just because the thought of him is amazing, like what he
Yeah.
actually does. But when you look at him, number one, he looks like a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
He's walking
He
around
does.
in spandex freaking tights with a cod piece, a cape, and a monocle.
Yeah. No
And
shirt.
then and no shirt. And then you look at him and you're like, what do you do for Cobra all day, Dr. Mindbender? And he can just look at you and say crunches. I just do crunches all day. I have a 16 pack. Like
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, you never seen that in your personal physician doctor, but hey, works. Hey, work for a terrorist organization. You can kind of go out and everything. They don't have a
Like
dress code,
he should be the fitness instructor, man.
man. And then they've got the Cobra Viper, and then the classic version, the retro version that we remember from the cartoon and Televiper, even to the point where I've seen like lettering over the eyepiece. So that's kind of cool. So so now that you've seen the what's coming out from Hasbro, officially from Hasbro, these are
Oh,
not
there's
our
also Dial Tone that's coming out.
well, Dial Tone it's already came out. He's so we ran that in 2024, so we
It's
left
still
that off
okay.
the list.
I
So
just know he's
Dial
on my
Tone
pre-release. I know he's on my
leather,
pre-order list.
yeah, Dial Tone, Leatherneck, and Saw Viper are just now
Oh,
hitting
that's
the
right.
market.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so they kind of like snuck in a little bit in 2024 at the tail end. So I kind of left it off this list because they were actually hitting the streets. So from there, we are going to check over. So now again, like Dr. Brentley said, these are the opinions of just Alex and Richard. These do not represent the Shadow Nose Network, YouTube, or any other subsidiaries. So just understand that. But
Unless
but
unless you bet on this and make $1 million, then
then we want our cut of it. We want our cut of it. But the thing that we would like to see in any true Joe collector wants to see the original 13.
yeah, that's
And you've got this nice little photo of the O-ring original 13. And, like if you were at that age and you first saw it, again, we were talking about this in the green room, but I remember the first time I saw this, and it wasn't it wasn't the toy line, it wasn't the cartoon, it was like a giant G.I. Joe coloring book that they had came out with. And that's how I was introduced to the first 13. And then the toys started hitting the market, and then the actual Mass Device miniseries came out. And since we live in
well that
Southern California, we'll give out the shot. KCOP Channel 13. That's where it came on.
that's the thing is we got the original 13. We got the old straight
Yep.
arm Joes when they first came out,
Mhm.
and then immediately when the cartoon came out and the comic books started coming out, that's when they changed everything to that's when we got the Kung Fu grip. That's
Yeah.
when you got the swivel arm and everything. And a
Mhm.
lot of these characters disappeared when the swivel grip came around.
Yep.
The green shirts kind of went away. That's when we started, like you said before, Duke became the leader. Like there was some little changes that were made, but
Yep.
like the green shirts for a large part kind of disappeared. And if you remember, I mean, like we talked about in the green room, like watching the cartoons, they never really showed up. We saw Stalker in
Yeah.
what, maybe 3 episodes ever.
True.
He was in the miniseries, and then and I get it. It has to do with selling toys, but I mean, we didn't get the story of the original Joes, and those of us that grew up with those Joes first. I mean, I love those figures. I love green shirts. I love army builders.
True. What's going on, chat? Nice to have you pop in tonight. Yeah, you're right. Look, so far, let's give out the made ones that we know that they've done so far, but they've done them in classified, and
Right.
they've only done one, which is rock and roll. Well, actually, that's not true. Let
No.
me
Yeah.
back up on that. They've done Scarlet, and they've done retro Snake Eyes, and they've done rock and roll, but we haven't seen Breaker, which I've heard we soon will. We haven't seen Clutch. We soon will. Grunt kind of almost looks like that right now. They don't really need to change that.
Right.
Stalker, they've done retro Stalker as well, and then Hawk, they've done just the standard Hawk,
Yeah.
which is a classified version. They haven't done the retro yet, and the retro Hawk I want to see is the original 13 retro Hawk, not the General Hawk that we've seen for the cartoon show. I want to see
With
the green
yeah.
shirt, kind of all khakis version of that Hawk. So, and then the unmade Joes at this point, Steeler, who is the Mobat driver, the tank, Grand Slam, Flash, Short Fuse, and Zap. Now, Zap, I remember from the show 1 or 2 times. I remember seeing Zap on the show with speaking lines that he wasn't really.
Yeah.
So a lot of the original 13. And then Steeler got some love. Grand Slam never did. Flash rarely. Short Fuse didn't. But these characters are still
I
essential
think
if
Shark
you're a
Fuse
Joe
popped
fan.
up on the cartoon once or twice.
Yeah, but not like in like in predominance of being the
Yeah. Oh
original
no. No.
13
Yeah.
version. So I would love to see them do this in the main line, but also the retro line, because I want to have like the same way these figures are sitting here for the 3 3/4 line. I would love to see them in the original 13 in the retro line and the plastic line, and just have them side by side, because that's just kind of nice. As a matter of fact, to have all three class have the 3 3/4, the classified line, and the retro line. It'd be nice to see all of them done that.
What I would love to see Hasbro really do, also, like, same thing, is do it like, if the classified was, because it's a weird mishmash
Yeah.
of eras, right?
Hmm.
I would love to see classified maybe a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
Even you can even lean a little bit into the futuristic stuff, because we're getting drones and stuff like that. So I could forgive that to an extent if we get the classic line that looks more like the traditional Joes, and they keep it separated like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
We get the retro carded, and they'll look like the original Joes, and we get the classified that's more of maybe your modern, and I think it would be, and people would buy multiple of the same figure,
Hmm.
just because you'd have to have them all.
Well, here's even the thing though, because they've done Grunt, and the best part about Grunt, you can almost change out Grunt for like Short Fuse
Yeah.
and Zap and a couple other characters. They were all really kind of like the same thing. And Chad's agreeing with you, man. Thinks it's a great idea. But yeah, I think the same thing, because if you're a true fan of GI Joe, you want to see the original 13, and
I mean,
especially on hardback.
you could also release like a retro carded, like you said, like a green shirt, which would be Grunt. What is it? Grunt, Zap, uh, and just, it's the same body. Even Hawk,
Pretty
it's
much.
the same body, and
Mhm.
with a different head,
Yes,
multiple heads.
even Breaker and Clutch's kind of uniforms are kind of similar in the
Right.
same way too. So you could get away with it if you're looking at the point of saving money and just swapping heads, and not actually, they are pretty
But
much on the line.
even if that's the idea that they want to go with, people are going to buy multiple of them.
Oh, you know that's right. And
You
Chad
know,
says I'm 53 and I've been a Joe fan forever, brother. I'm not that age yet, but I'm getting close to it.
Hey,
But I
I'm
tell you,
51.
yeah, like I said, right up there with you, man.
I mean,
Like I said,
we started with the 12 inches, but I remember
I
the
did.
12-inch shows before
Yep.
the straight arms came out. So
A lot of my uncles that were older than I was actually passed those down, and then once it was the 330, so GI Joe has been a mainstay in my family probably since my uncles were kids, and they were
right.
playing with the 12-inch ones with the lockers and even all the way down to even the adventure team. So I GI Joe's been a lifelong thing, and that's why I thought tonight we would definitely move into this because we got two lifelong fans and a whole bunch of fans out there. Chad said he would definitely buy multiple fix. Yeah, I agree with you,
I'm
brother. I
telling you
definitely
because
would.
like I said, especially for that retro line, people our age would love that
Yeah.
because that's when we start. And then you have, like I said, you have the alternate, the classified.
Yes.
That's you could talk to your kids or your grandkids. Hey, this is what I liked when I was a kid, and that's a whole conversation, man. That like it's people don't talk anymore. And
True.
when you talk about something that you, especially if you have a passion when you were a kid for GI Joe or Transformers, whatever it is, to be able to share that with your kid or your grandkid,
Yeah.
uh, that's something special. And especially if it brings them into the fandom, and then maybe reignite yours. I mean, there's opportunities there. Like that's the one thing a lot of these companies aren't doing. Something that Disney is currently doing right now with Skeleton Crew is they don't try to bring in new fans. They haven't worked towards that, and they need to because we're getting old.
Yeah, yeah. We ain't getting any younger. The one thing I would like to see in the more of the retro line, I think if you did this for the original 13, it would be fine if they could somehow do it. I would like to see them come with maybe some plastic dog tags,
Oh
like
yeah,
a set like they did with the 12-inch versions. I think if
yeah.
they incorporated that in, and you don't have to do it on every figure, but it would be cool to see it on the original 13 come with like a set of dog tags that had their specific name on them that
Yeah.
would add a little extra lore to it. So, look, if you're listening to Hasbro, which we know from time to time you guys do, that's it's just our humble opinion, but I think I would definitely pay a little extra for some cool looking plastic dog tags. So yeah, original 13. We want to see more of those. Keep them coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, from there, the mass device again. Chad, if you're out there, we know you probably know this because you probably watched it along with us. But they are doing this for the deluxe line, and they've got the Snake Eyes from the actual mass device miniseries, but that was the first animated miniseries that they did for GI Joe. And he was obviously got irradiated, which they've got the radiated hands, which is really cool. And he's got a piece of the element that he had for the mass device, and it comes with a giant polar bear. And they say that the polar bear can stand on his hind legs too, to be very menacing.
That thing
So
looks beefy.
it does. It does. And Chad saying I'm excited for the Mindbender retro. Again, you never can have too many Dr. Mindbenders, man. Never can have too many. But when you're looking at some of these other he comes with the bear trap. They've got a couple of rifles, knives, again, I love all of the detail they put in this. And again, it's a deluxe figure, so it's going to
Yeah.
cost you a little bit more, but this is one of the things that if you're going to charge a little bit more, give me a little bit more. This is one of those
Right.
items where it's a deep dive. I don't think a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of younger fans
Right.
would want to see this, but the older fans that's been fan of the
See,
Joe forever want to see this.
this is one thing that I think this is where they're kind of dropping the ball with this. This should be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive because
Yes.
I think releasing it as a deluxe and putting it on the shelves, it's gonna become a peg warmer because younger kids aren't gonna know it. The older guys that are into it, that grew up with the I mean, it's the first four issues or episodes of the cartoon. It's the original miniseries is episode 1 through 4,
Episode 1 through 5, technically.
or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't grow up watching that, you're not going to be familiar with it because it's not as cool of a Snake Eyes as some of the other one. You know what
But
I'm saying?
it comes with a giant polar bear, bro. Man, that might be
I'm
just
just
enough to entice you.
it might be, but I mean, a lot of these, and that's the sad thing, and that's why I think they missed the mark on some of the deluxes is they become peg warmers because they're not as desirable. So they should be, I think they'd be better off if they were Pulse exclusives.
Well, you, you never know. What's this? Commander Bly, welcome in, sir. He's always usually first, not tonight though, but
Yeah, the animals that have
they
been put
are.
out with are all amazing. They all. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm buying this, but
Oh, of course.
I
And you know
I
what?
just feel like
He-
it's going to sit on the shelves.
Here's the point. No, actually, you know what? I think this is exclusive to Hasbro Pulse.
Oh, is it?
Because I was just now looking through the notes. Those it is an actual exclusive through Pulse. So this
Okay.
is
Yeah.
this
See
is
that's
actually
smart.
exclusive to Pulse. And also, yeah. So, chat, yeah, it could have been no. It is exclusive, sir. So that's something that we definitely got. And
Yeah. Then that's smart because then you're not going to see it at Ross or something like that. You know.
And yeah, true, true. And you know what? Look, even if you did, I still buy 2 or 3 of these.
Oh, I would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna buy one. I'm probably gonna buy two. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy one and keep it in the box and buy one and open it.
And then
But I mean,
Freak
it's
Burritos
not
letting us
for
know
people,
he's ready for Law and Order too, bro.
right? Oh, I'm so excited about Law and Order.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like Commander Bly said, they are really kind of like doing the job on these figures. Everything from like Crocmaster, came with Fiona. That was awesome. The I think the 2 or 3 versions of Timber that we've
Yeah,
seen. Every time I turn around, they're doing the animals correct. Even
yeah, even
Shipwreck and the Parrot
yeah,
and Spirit and the Eagle, they've done all these the characters when they're really putting the detail in, and it's not
yeah. The
just like they're
detail, the
just sitting
detail
on
on
there. So
Freedom is actually pretty
yeah,
awesome.
and he comes with like different levels, like you can put his wings on where he's
Wings, yeah,
out or wings down. So it's not like they're cheaping it. Same thing with Timber for the 2 different versions that they've
yeah,
done for Snake Eyes. He has comes with 2 alternate heads, one that growls and one that doesn't. So
yeah,
they are doing a really good job. Now, this is where I just saw this pop up, and he's absolutely right because this is one of those things we were going to get to a little later, but I'm glad he did. Hope they hurry up and release the Iron Grenadier Destro. And that was one of those things. We have that little down the line chat. Hold on a little bit because you kind of spoil it, but we were going to throw that in a little later. But yeah, no, I think once I saw the Iron Grenadiers start
yeah.
popping up, I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna get some different versions of these characters, and that's not a bad thing either, man.
And we're getting Declan, so
Yeah, and if
we
they're
got
if
the Bat and the Grenadier
I
Soldier. They just came out, right?
I saw that, and also a Metalhead last year as well.
Right.
So yeah, they're building up the Grenadier line, and again, more troop builders, more characters. It's never a bad thing. But getting back to the mass device, um, I hope they do a mass device.
Right.
Like to see them release it. And I know you were saying talking about something like a builder figure. I hope they don't do it as a builder figure. Just give us the mass device and maybe
Honestly, they could
a
do it. They
retro
could do it just like they
commander or
did
something.
with the Trench Viper.
Yeah,
Release it with a character. Like
yeah,
it's a little modular playset with put. I mean, there's multiple different characters you could put with the
you
mass
get them.
device. You can just choose one.
I would definitely just love. I would love to see them actually just do a mass device, especially because look, they're giving us pieces with Snake Eyes, so that's got to fit to something, man.
Yeah,
They just didn't do that out of nowhere. So I'm hoping that comes down the line. But yeah, we want to see them do more of the mass characters. And yeah, well, like I said, Commander Bly agrees. So that definitely need a mass. I need a 6-inch scaled version of a mass device. Most definitely, man. So we're gonna move on. Again, these are just the opinions of Richard and myself. These have not been any kind of leaks or anything, so we don't want you guys to get your hopes up. But if we're right and you bet on it, then you owe us a piece of the pie. But for the 2025 Hasbro, which will probably be announced sometime in June for Yojo June, as they're getting ready for it. Hopefully, they're actually got their crap together and it's coming out in June. So let's just say hopefully in May they got their Star Wars thing ready. June they've got this stuff ready to come out. So I think it's my opinion. I think it's going to be the Mobat. I think the Mobat only because we haven't seen Steeler. This would be, they just gave us the Rattler last year and they kind of alternated. I know they said that doing air vehicles was a little cheaper than doing ground vehicles, but you've already worked on the tracks with the Histink. This is the Mobat's not like the Mauler. It's just not like, a very big tank. But I think I think that everyone in the line would definitely want to see like one of the original ones because they've kind of like hit between the 82, 83 so far line when they're going back and forth with some of the vehicles here. I think it's going to be the Mobat. Now, I don't think it's going to be motorized because I don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Uh, because I just, I think the pricing would be way too much. But I think with the lights and everything else, and I'm sure they're going to give us little extra peaks, and it could be maybe the Mobat pulling the SMS behind it and everything. You never know, but they could justify this being a Haslab.
Now, I am not going with what I would think because I think you're actually kind of right. It makes
Yeah.
sense for it to be the moment. For me, I'm going with what I hope and what I wish, and that would be the killer whale.
I know.
I mean, hands down, it is my favorite GI Joe vehicle. The
Mhm.
killer whale is amazing, and now, granted, it's going to be a pretty massive piece of work,
Yeah.
but it is one of if you grew up as a kid and you had the killer whale, which was surprisingly affordable,
Uh-huh.
for considering
Yeah,
the
it
size
was.
and everything.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the most fun vehicles that was ever put out, and I think to have that, just especially if it's able to float.
Yeah.
To have that where you could play with it in the water and on the land, I think lends itself to just so much. And I would really like this is one thing that no matter what my financial situation is, if this is a Haslab, I will find a way to back it.
Well, Chad says I'll take that whale to go along with my custom Fortnite boats, which a lot of people are doing that. Commander Bly, just to not skip on you. I know we saw you, but it says I'll take that. He was like, no plastic static tracks and wheels underneath and everything. Yeah, we hope not. And Commander Bly also states that if the well is a Haslab, it should be radio controlled.
That would be amazing.
That'd be way too damn much money, man. You know that one. Whenever you start going to RCs and everything, they're going to charge us up the ass for that. That would be
Actually,
a
you know what?
$1,200 vehicle, brother.
I'm gonna say that's actually a really, really good idea.
It is a good idea.
And
It is a
I'm
good
not
idea.
going to say who I might know that has blueprints to actually make a 6 inch scale killer whale, but that
Yeah.
person may try to motorize that now.
Yeah. Well, let's look like this. Well, if that does happen, I'm sure you'll give us the information that Commander Bly and Chad, a couple other people can actually spend their hard-earned money on that because we know we would. Now, here's the thing that I kind of just threw in because I know we still haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen Ace pop up, and at one point or another, we're going to have to see Ace, whether it's retro or whether it's just the classic mainline Ace. But we're going to
Right.
have to see him. Chances are, I don't know if because we were at the SoCal Joe show in December, and someone did a custom print, and I know some guys actually did 3D custom printing of the
Yeah,
Sky Striker as well.
yeah, I know the guy that designed it.
Yeah, and that thing was huge, and I think one of our buddies, we won't mention his name here because he probably doesn't want anybody to know, but he actually purchased that 3D scaled version of Sky Striker. That crap was huge,
It's massive,
and
and
it
that was printed at what you would.
yeah.
It was printed at 90%, which means it's not full scale,
No, it's not.
and that thing is enormous.
It is huge. And of course, obviously, too, we've seen a Night Raven. I've seen in your possession that was 3D printed. That's almost as tall as you are. So
Yeah,
there's
it comes to my chin.
I don't know how they would incorporate Ace in the Sky Striker in. I don't know if they would do it because it is a very large vehicle and I know you're pushing at the 650 mark for that. That's not like 400, 300, but that's
Right.
gonna be massive. It's gonna dwarf because, like, the Rattler they're saying is extremely large. And if you saw this San Diego Comic Con, it's large, but it wasn't near the size that we saw that Sky Striker, man.
It, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, it's quite a bit
Yeah.
shorter,
Hmm.
quite a
Hmm.
bit. Actually, because I have mine, which is
Yeah.
made of the same scale.
Yeah.
Again, the same designer. So, but
So
yeah, it's massive.
hmm so so there's a good chance the reason why I think the Mobat is one, a 13 original legacy character that we haven't seen in the line, and they could reuse his body. They could probably use Grunt, or they could probably use Clutch body parts in order to do Steeler. I'm pretty
Right.
sure. So it's an easy transition. So I'm expecting it to be the Mobat, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did say out of the blue it was a whale.
I
But
would. I think if we get a whale, we'd get a whale purely due to popularity. The whale
yeah,
is still one of the most popular vehicles
yeah,
in the G.I. Joe universe. So
yeah, it'd be awesome to have it, and it'd be nice to have it come with Cutter. Because again, a lot of these characters that we saw in the show were actually characters with vehicles.
right.
So, that's something that we're definitely gonna see. So, again, our prediction right now, I'm saying that I'm 90% on a Mobat, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a whale. I don't think it's gonna be a Sky Striker, but that's the only way I think we get Ace somehow.
Yeah. Well, I'm just very hopeful that it's the whale.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure if we get it, it's going to be the Mobat. But I'm holding hope for that killer whale.
absolutely, absolutely. And we're gonna flow on this, but before we jump to this, if you guys aren't throwing up likes on this, please throw likes up, man. That gets through the nasty algorithm, gets it out to other people, and also please make sure you're subscribing, not just so you can watch the Toybox Chronicles, but you can watch Pixel Plastic and Ink. That sometimes frequently has my man Richard on as well on Friday nights, same time as Wednesday night, 7 p.m. And 10 p.m. Pacific time, 7 Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, sir, for subscribing. We definitely
You can
enjoy
have a
good
fun time
content.
going on Pixel Plastic and Eats and hearing me defend the new Crow movie, no matter what anybody says.
Absolutely right. Now, here's some of the smaller vehicles that we think that we could definitely see coming out through this year. I'm sorry. Well, I'm always thinking I'm in 2024. We're in 2025. But these are ones that we think that could go to retail. So this is not something where excuse me, that we need to be Hasbro Pulse exclusive or anything else like that. One that it's one of my favorites. I definitely have to see this in the line. I will not be content until I do see it. It's small enough to put it on the shelves, just like the way they did for the Clutch or the Tiger Paw or any of these. You
Yeah,
could most definitely throw the Shark with Deep
yeah.
Six. Most
I
definitely.
I would love a Deep Six that we're able to actually play with. And I don't play with my toys, but I mean, I was robbed of the ability to actually play with Deep Six other than watch them bubble. You
Yeah.
know,
But that was such a cool effect with the little
it
pump and
is a
everything. It's
cool
like,
effect, but like, I mean, it was a big blocky figure. Like, he might
yeah,
as well have been a bobblehead. You know?
but I still loved them. I still love that you could put torpedo and put them through the peg on the bottom of it,
Yeah,
which always on the show I thought that's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever seen because no way in the world would that work. But even as a child, I'm like that looked mighty dangerous.
yeah,
But Commander Bly said, "Yeah, I will agree with him on this one too. A third party did the Hawk, but it isn't supposed to be an official Hawk coming soon. I saw it at first. Initially, it did look like the Skyhawk, and then they did some designs to add extra pieces, and then you can break it down and make it into a Hawk. But normally, whenever you see something like that come out third party, you're gonna see Hasbro put out their own versions of it.
oh yeah,
So and then right here, we've got Chad saying we need a polar bear. Absolutely, Chad. We definitely do. We're getting right to that. If you gave us snow job, well,
yeah.
what did you give us snow job for? Not to give us the polar bear? Come on. So we got to see that. The Fang, we know the Fang's coming.
Yeah.
There's no way they do this line without doing a Fang. Also, there's some great 3D printers out there that are customizing that. I've seen them at so many shows. Great
Oh,
looking Fangs already.
yeah.
So this is just a formality for them.
Well,
Uh,
and the Skyhawks too. There's a lot of those out there.
yeah, I've seen that as well. And that third party one that Commander Bly's talking about comes with lights and everything else, and
Oh,
that's really nice. It's really nice. It's not a bad pricing either. You can actually go check that out. I'm sure you can search it on your own. And then look, they gave us Copperhead. You got to give us the water moccasin. Come on,
yeah,
you
100%.
know.
That is one of the that's up there too. That's one of my
Yeah.
another one of my favorite vehicles. Apparently, I just love water vehicles. I don't know. Noticing a trend here, but
Commander
the
Blythe
shark,
did
the
the same
whale.
thing. Yeah, he said
But
I
it
played
was
with that
just it
shark.
was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Commander Blythe said I played with that shark so many hours. Hawk and the Trouble Bubble were the only ones that got more playtime. And yeah,
Trouble Bubble is another one that's really high on my list. I absolutely love Trouble Bubbles.
yeah, yeah.
They
Well,
were so weird. I
yeah,
loved them.
they did. And then you gave us the His tank. You got to give us the Asp.
Yeah.
So because he gave us the SMS, you might as
Mhm.
well give that. You could put another, redesign another Cobra Trooper or something to give us with that. So that's most definitely, we definitely got to see that. So those are small vehicles that we think can go to retail. A lot of these are from from the very early days of it. I especially know the Polar Bear and the Asp and the Fang, and then some of them also with the water moccasins a little later along with the Skyhawk. But I think that these are ones that I could see them pushing towards retail. I necessarily some of these, I don't think that you need to do the water moccasin with a redesigned copperhead or anything. I think you can actually just put that out along with the ass, but they've
Yeah.
been known to, whenever they do these smaller vehicles, to have them come with characters. So, we'll see. But these are our predictions. I think that's where the line's going. I would not be surprised. I can almost guarantee though the Fang is definitely getting done. But yeah, like Chad said, we need the polar bear. You got to have the polar bear, man.
I agree.
So there we're Flover. Now these are just they aren't saying they're gonna make them. No way in the world. But we had some other characters. Now I was gonna use that as my surprise, and then somebody in the chat kind of let us know about this. But the Iron Grenadier Destro, we don't have an image of him up because it's from the deep cartoon. And
Right.
but yeah, because he has a gold plating and they've already designed Destro, and it would be nice. Look, I think we have three versions of Destro. You have the standard line, the retro line, and then you have the Prophet Destro.
Right.
So they most definitely need to give us an Iron Grenadier one. I think that will definitely work. But from
I just
there,
prefer. And here's the weird thing: is
uh,
I'm a hopeful for the Iron Grenadier version more or
yeah,
less because I absolutely hate the original Destro for the
wow,
exact same. And it's weird because Destro is one of my favorite characters, but I hate the figure for the exact same reason why I love the Beyonder.
uh,
I hate him because he's got that retro 70s look, which
okay,
is what I love about the Beyonder in Marvel. But for
yeah.
some reason, for some a weapons dealer, it just doesn't look right.
I don't know. It just like when I see him as Prophet Destro, kind of looks right. He kinda looks like it works. It looks like he'd be slaking some weapons in like somewhere overseas or something. He kind of, I can see it. Look, it looks
I
like it comes out of something out of a John Claude Van Damme movie or something, bro.
I despised that figure so much when it came out that I had to customize my own. I don't know if you ever saw the pictures of mine. Mine's an Iron Grenadier version
I
of it.
did see it. Oh, here's my boy right here. Mr. Deadman One. How you doing, brother? Y'all talking Joe's very fitting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Expect to see. I gotta talk to you tonight, brother, because we're talking about a little team up kind of thing here. But if you guys haven't checked out Deadman One, please check him out. He's doing great work. He works with some guys called the Toy Mercs. He's also working with a couple of buddies of ours, Odd Frog Entertainment and everything. Very talented brother. He's doing great things. His page, the Toy Mercs, just hit 4,000. And
Nice.
yeah, I'll DM you over on Instagram, brother. Well, actually, like I said again, if you want to pop on, bro, let us know one night. We'll pop you on too. But And then from there, you said they'll probably release Destro with his own vehicle. You know what? He did have his own vehicle. I
Oh, I
can't
forgot.
remember the
Yeah,
name
he
of it, but
did.
he did have his own vehicle when the Iron Grenadier line. You're right. Yep, chat. You're right. Yeah, it's primed already. I know you're ready, brother. I also saw it. I know. Also, check them out. I think you guys are doing a 4,000 giveaway, right? So, I was on your Instagram tonight when you were talking about that. So definitely, you guys, check out Dead Man One over on Instagram, and also check out Toy Mercs. They've got some dope stuff that they're doing, and Dead Man is just a really cool dude, bro. Really, really nice meeting you, man. But getting back
Oh, that's
to
right. He had that. I forgot. He had that weird gravity pod thing. That's what the Destro had.
he had a couple of them, man. He had a
It
couple
was
of them.
like a flying throne thing.
He also had a tank too. So
Right.
there were several different vehicles. Um, and it was like, yeah, y'all even talking
Well, they
about
had
that.
they had the Grenadier lines.
Yep, yep, yep. Uh, so now here's a couple of things. If you we're looking about again, these are just ones we want, and I think it'd be cool. Look, ever since I watched the original Joe series, I remember Colonel Sharp. If you saw now, there was a couple of different like leaders of Joe's. He wasn't in the mass device, but if you watched into the regular show, Colonel Sharp popped up all the time. And I'm like, look, just you can give us a retro version of the character finally.
If we get the Colonel Sharp, are we going to get the alternate version with the what's called Zartan head?
You know what? That actually would work. Actually, you got a point about that. That would work because that would be kind of cool. Uh, One, I know he's one of your favorites, and this would be considered a deluxe character because you would have to make him taller than the other characters. But Big Lob, you know.
Big Lob is such a okay. I love the character just because he's so ridiculous,
Mhm.
and he's on a military team because he's a basketball player.
Uh-huh. I
Like,
you know, and the thing I loved about it because if you don't look, they've given us every character that Beachhead put through that obstacle course in G.I. Joe the movie. They got Jinx, Tunnel Rat, they gave us
Chuckles,
Chuckles, and
yeah.
Law and Order now is coming. So Big
Ah,
Lob's gotta definitely come. And Freak Burrito did say this too, but I've been holding out hopes for this ever since I saw Sergeant Slaughter. He said the fridge would be cool. I swear I would do the fridge, but you know who does a great fridge? This man on the other side of the on the view screen right here. This man does a great fridge. Customizer. Go to kscollectibles.com and take a look at some of his work. He can do one for you too because he's supposed to be
yeah.
doing
I
one
I
for me.
believe at the bottom of the page there is a picture of my fridge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I would love to see the official fridge. If
Oh
there's
yeah.
some way that Hasbro could get that done.
Mhm.
He was one of the first mail-in characters that I thought I was gonna die if I didn't get enough flag points to get him, you know?
I don't know.
And
I don't know what the family situation is with
yeah,
his estate and everything to be able to get the approval to make him though. So that could be a
yeah,
hang up because he's no longer alive.
I know.
So who knows what the situation
I would
is
love
with
to
his estate.
somehow when you see Sergeant Slaughter and you see that they were able to work a deal to get him out, obviously because he is still around.
Right.
It's there's a difference. Like I don't think about GI Joe from those days, and there's three things I think about Joe's. I think Hooded Cobra Commander. It's always got to be Hooded Cobra Commander. I don't give a damn
Yeah.
what they say the situation is and everything. There has to be. I remember that character too often not to see him in a classified line. You got to have Sergeant Slaughter. No matter what you got, there's got to be Sergeant Slaughter. And then from there, 100% everything, you've got to have a fridge. So and Commander like, I was not jacking kids in the neighborhood for flag points, brother. They were freely giving them to me, man.
The other one. There's another one that's on my dream list, and it was never part of the main line. It was just a convention exclusive, and it's just for the nostalgia stake for it. It was something that you could only get at a Comic Con or through the thing, and that would be the Iron Grenadier hand to hand combat instructor, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
That's just like the fridge. That's going to be a tough one. But I do remember seeing
No,
that
I mean
G.I. Joe.
Piper's kids are pretty good about the licensing for his stuff.
And if I'm just saying, that was through what, the G.I. Joe Club or the G.I. Joe Convention exclusive
It
version,
was
right?
through the club,
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
but they also like they did it with like you got it like mine came from San Diego Comic Con and
mhm,
like that was something he actually had some pride in too, and
yeah,
it was you only had it was the 25th anniversary style, which I think is a very underappreciated line, but
it
I would
is.
just love to see that. Which is another custom that I have made, but
Yeah, and I gotta tell you too, it was Dr. Brentley, boy, boy, man, you think we wouldn't be friends for damn near almost 30 years. More repetitious with Alex's young businessman. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yep, most definitely, brother. I'll check my DM when I'm done with this. And Commander Bly. There's different. And then last but not least, I've heard this is coming, but I'd be remarkable to say not that we definitely want to see it. If you did like they did the 60th anniversaries, just some green shirts. Just the basic troop building Joes. I know Super 7 did them, and I'm not a big Super 7 fan.
yeah,
Uh, but I would like to see this in
even
the classified
I would
line.
like to see it on both sides. Some
Yeah.
straight up Cobra Troopers and green shirt Joes.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah, just and do it retro and mainline. I'm fine. Just give us some of the classic one. You could do it just like you did the 60th anniversary figures. They come
yeah.
alternate heads and different situations. So I would definitely love to see that. And guess what, guys? With that, again, I'll let Mr. Brentley tell us that he did before. These are just the opinions of Alex and Richard, not of the Shadow Knows Network, YouTube, or any of their subsidiaries. These are just our prediction versions. Use this as you may. It's like if you see them. And yeah, like Commander Bly, definitely multi-packs of army builders. I think the more army builders that you can get, the more I think fans would definitely want that.
Can you
And
imagine how quick people would eat up like a 3-pack?
oh, most definitely. Most
You know,
definitely. What's going on, sir? What's going on, bro, man? What's going on for you, brother? And again, before we jump in, hey, if you guys aren't subscribing to the page, please subscribe to the Shadow Knows Network. Give some likes up right there so you can keep seeing us. We're on every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Friday, catch us up on Pixel, Plastic, and Ink. It is on 7 p.m. and Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can catch us here all the time. The information's at the top of the page too, but hitting that subscribe button and keeping that notification bell on will definitely alert us when we're on, man. But nice to see you in here. So before we go, because it's Wednesday night live stream night, and it's not just us on, guess what? We got our buddies at the Sorlak Digest podcast on that are talking about the skeleton crew over there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. He said just subscribe. Thank you, sir. Definitely.
much
Um,
appreciated.
yeah, most definitely. But before we let you go, and you can join our buddies over at Sorlac, if you are into Marvel Legends, tomorrow the Nemesis wave of Marvel Legends is hitting. So we like to tell you guys in advance if you're into that. January 9th, which is tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you double check that because usually these Build-A-Figure lines have a way of just actually, if you're on 10 or 15 minutes late, you're probably not going to be able to purchase these.
Yeah,
But the Nemesis wave comes with Gambit from the Age of Apocalypse, Nightcrawler from X Force, Cyclops version from X Factor, Meryl and Musk from Generation X, Fabian Cortez, that was one of the acolytes, and the Wolverine from Extreme X-Men and Time Point. And they all end up building, Nemesis, the character, which is, it's he's from I believe he was from also the Age of Apocalypse. Was I mistaken? Was he from that line? Nemesis?
Nemesis. No,
Yeah.
no, he's a Sentinel.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right. And then you can check out we got some of these characters right here. You can see Meryl, you can see the Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse version of Gambit, and Gambit's been blowing up. They have done a great job with Gambit down the line on several other these. So I think
Yeah,
Gambit's gonna really sell out. I like the X Factor version of Cyclops with that blast.
Yeah, I love X Factor, and I'm glad we're finally getting an X Factor
Yeah.
version toy out there. So
Yeah, and then another Nightcrawler is always cool in a different uniform, and then Fabian Cortez, which is one of the Magneto's acolytes, which is
yeah,
kind of cool that they're going in some deep lore here, and that was from like the '90s with the Jim Lee run. I remember that's the first time I remember seeing him. I know he was around a little bit before, but I remember seeing him in like X-Men 1. They had the acolytes in it. And then also again, you can also see Nemesis right here, fully put together. And this is going to be the Extreme X-Men Wolverine version that you see in all black with yellow lines right here. So really cool looking version. So remember, that's going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to place your orders for over at Hasbro Pulse, they'll probably do a live stream a little bit earlier than that. So check it out. It's it's always good if you're into Marvel Legends, which somehow we've gotten into Marvel Legends a little bit more. So it's always cool with that. Ah, no, like I see, taking off the screen right here. So, brother, we have survived to the points. Any other last minute predictions that you think for GI Joe Classified before we get out of here?
yeah, I predict that they're gonna put out some more secondary team members of things that we don't care about and that are just gonna sit on shelves.
Well, that's true. Let's put it like this: if while the deluxe figures, when they come with the animals, are great, I've been seeing more of them pop up at the discount areas and things like. Which
Yeah,
I'm not complaining, but somehow they don't sell well at retail until they knock the price down. But they usually are out the door. And I've only seen the third version of Snake Eyes with Timber pop up at Ross. So, it's just one of those aspects. But I think, yeah, they're hitting some of the characters they hit on are really good. I think the retro line's extremely smart because there's
Wh-
people that just weren't into some of the classified looks.
when do you think we get the Snake Eyes in the Moo?
Ah, so I hope they haven't done a deep dive down that line. I hope they just create a brand new Snake Eyes other than going into deep lore version, but you never know, man. Well, like I said, my friend, it is always, always good to have you. And again, it is always good to have anybody else pop in with us. And again, I'm going to stress this enough. If you guys don't subscribe, we can't grow. And you gave us a milestone. We hit over 2,000 last year. We appreciate all that, but we're looking to actually forward to go through and to keep pushing forward. And we can't do that without you guys, without the likes, comments, and the subscribing. You guys
Yeah,
keep us going. You guys keep us
and it,
going.
it makes us want to do new and different content and reaching different stuff that we got some stuff coming.
We do. We do. We got some things. Especially, I'm just going to tease a little bit of the Studio 112. We're looking for a little bit of that too. So any customers that are out there might want to get with your boy. Well, as always, my friend, nice having you on and everything. You
It's a
know what?
pleasure.
Why don't you pop on Friday night? Let's do this again. So, check us out on Friday night. Pixel Plastic Inc. starts at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk. It's a catch-all for everything pop culture, news, films, and everything else. We're definitely going to be hitting it up and just like, oh, and before we hit us, I'll be hitting you up on for that fridge. Richard, you got one. You got
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
All
Like I
right. Well,
said, if you check out my website, which is right there underneath my name,
it is.
there are some pictures of some of my customization work. You can always message me through DM me on any social media platform. So I do custom orders. A lot of wrestling figures. I do Marvel figures. I pretty much a little bit of everything, honestly. So yeah,
Man
feel
has a
free to reach
catch-all.
out.
Mhm. And when you're done with us, please pop over to the Sorlak Digest podcast YouTube channel. They're going to be talking about the Skelling's Crew, anything in a galaxy far, far away. My buddies over at Sorlak know how to do it. Thank you guys for popping in tonight and everything. I'll see you guys on Friday. And like Chet would say, you don't have to do something, but you know what? It's okay to chase the plastic dragon sometimes.